Hims and Hers just launched their new testosterone product. They just launched at home testing. These are products that we've been waiting for since the beginning of the year. They've been guiding for these products. It's going to add a lot to the actual growth of the company. And yet, a lot of people are still shorting this company. We got new short interest numbers. We got a lot of macro news with regards to Novo Nordisk and others. And in this video, I'm going to be covering all of it. And I also want to go in depth on explaining why every single week and month it feels as though every bear case for this company just evaporates. Back in the spring, I tweeted and I said HIMS to $100 by the end of the year. And I honestly think that is very achievable, even still, now that we're in September. And it could even go much higher than that, depending on their execution, which it seems as though they're doing all the right things that are within their control. Let's jump right in. Okay, so first and foremost, I want to cover the largest piece of news here, which was the HIMS launching exclusive branded oral testosterone. They're doing so through a collaboration with Marius Pharmaceuticals, a needle-free FDA-approved medication shown to restore testosterone levels in up to 96% of men. It's going to address an estimated 20 million men in the US. Let's actually go to the press release because that's where a lot of the core information is. So here they released this press release 2 days ago. HIMS launching new category in men's health with exclusive branded oral testosterone, as well as expanded personalized treatments. So here they start off by saying an estimated 20 million men in the US struggle with low testosterone. And if this is left untreated, it can have a whole bunch of different issues for long-term health, yet most never receive the care due to stigma and outdated treatments. In 2026, HIMS will expand its category offerings with the launch of an exclusive branded oral testosterone through a major health platform exclusive collaboration with Marius Pharmaceuticals. And we'll walk through the full roadmap for what this launch looks like. But there's stuff launching right now, and there's also stuff launching in 2026. Kysotrex, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is a needle-free FDA-approved medication shown to restore testosterone levels in up to 96% of men. It also doubles free testosterone, the type linked to energy, drive, and performance, all while maintaining a low side effect profile. The CEO of HIMS and Hers, Andrew Dudham, said this isn't just about one product, it's about addressing a condition that fundamentally changes how millions of men feel and show up in life and building on an entirely new model of care that we can finally rely on. Okay, the press release continues here saying starting today, providers will also be able to prescribe tailored doses of compounded enclomiphene through the HIMS and Hers platform and for men experiencing sexual symptoms, offering prescribed testosterone care that combines enclomiphene and tadalafil in a single dual action treatment. I can't pronounce some of these names. I am not in this space, but these are the ones that are starting today immediately. The press release also adds here that customers begin with a simple at-home blood test, receive the results in days, and then work with a licensed provider to find the treatment plan. And this right now is their value proposition. This is their competitive advantage, that the fact that they can do at-home lab testing and then through your results work online with a licensed provider and then get something that's catered to you and compounded just for you. HIMS and Hers will also introduce access to injectable testosterone treatments in 2026, giving men more options for care. Now, there was a news article here, and it has the full roadmap. So here you can see the two pills that I was talking about, and then you have the branded testosterone in 2026. This is the one that's in collaboration with Marios, the Kysotrex, as well as the injectable testosterone solution. So there's really nothing too specific that is highlighted here in this press release. So the Kysotrex starting in 2026, that's the exclusive branded oral solution, and then the enclomiphene and the tadalafil are starting immediately. So I said, look, the roadmap is going to heat up in 2026 and beyond. Next year, we can expect these additional offerings to come. And don't forget that GLP-1s was their fastest growing business segment for HIMS. And every subsequent new product line that they've released has grown faster than the previous. So they're perfecting the methodology by which they release new products into the market. And that's obviously very bullish because you want them to be able to essentially get more efficient in terms of how they release new products, especially considering all of these releases that they have coming up very shortly. Okay, so let's move on to the other release. This didn't get a lot of attention, but they also released at-home lab testing, whereby they're going to send you an at-home lab kit. So there's free direct shipping and you get access to your results in the app. And here you can see the app experience here with the results. And obviously this is the entry to their flywheel because this is the thing that will allow users to have a personalized level of care. Now, from a stock price perspective, HIMS was up this past week. It not only reclaimed, but it's also climbing higher than that $50 mark, up about 7% of the past week. Honestly, I thought this was going to be up much more, but we'll see. It's slowly regaining momentum from being down in the low 40s. And one thing that helps is all of these launches, right? We saw analysts coming out and upgrading the company ratings as a result of their new launches. So BTIG actually put a new Wall Street high price target of $85, reiterating their buy rating. And you also had Canaccord Genuity reiterate their buy rating with a $68 price target. Both of these are higher than what we're trading right now. You also have like the Bank of Americas of the world that are much lower, but it's positive to note that analysts are increasingly bullish on HIMS. And the reason why is because we also got this news. Short interest for HIMS is at a new all-time high record. Over 74.6 million shares sold short. This is contrasting the 70 million that was reported on August 15th. Keep in mind, this report is as of August 29th. So we see a 37.7% short interest. I know a lot of people have been reporting a 42% short interest. And here I said that like my numbers are from Yahoo Finance. And basically the short interest percentage here assumes 197 million shares float, which is obviously excluding the insider held and the restricted shares, because I think the total float is around 225, something like that. But either way, whether the correct short interest number is 38% or 42%, it's still incredibly high and climbing every single month. So you can see here the green line is the short interest and the red line is the actual stock price on those same snapshot days. Obviously, as HIMS fell from $70 to $40, the shorts doubled down even further. This is essentially the dry powder that can launch this thing much higher. And this is something that we've been saying for a while now. And the reason why this is important is because we also got some macro news. Novo is slashing their guidance for a second time in the last 2 months. They plan to lay off 9,000 people. This is from HIMS House. And keep in mind that Novo doesn't really have a lot of the firepower with the other lawsuit that Eli Lilly had with a compounder. So that really mutes the lawsuit risk. In fact, there is a call sheet post up around whether Novo will sue HIMS. And there's about a 25% chance of that. And that came down significantly from over 60% chance of where it was sitting in August. Now, that's not necessarily the most accurate measure, but it's still an indicator that's moving in the right direction. So I don't think it's really going to happen. And the market is starting to realize that. And obviously, as the market fully comprehends and prices that in, you're going to see the stock price go back up. We also had this news about Mark McHale, the CEO of Olympia and Wesley Pharmaceuticals, being two of the nation's leading compound pharmacies, who was now appointed to the board of the Make America Healthy Again PAC, dedicated to advocating for policies and candidates that will make America healthy again. So you have somebody here, along with Marty McCary and others that are pro compounding in general, who are now appointed to these positions of policy and power. And that's obviously going to be very helpful for him from a legality perspective and from a legislature perspective as well. You also had news this week. This is from Dave, who reported the FDA now requires that drug companies' direct-to-consumer ads include full safety warnings, including social media ads. Bank of America, who has a $28 price target that they reiterated, stated that HIMS should be able to navigate this environment given its strong brand equity and its first mover advantage, but they would expect volatility in the near term. So here you even have the analysts who are bearish on the company, who have a price target under $30, who are saying they should be fine with a lot of these news that's coming out. So as we step back, you can now realize that this company, who has been sold off as a result of lawsuit risks from Novo Nordisk, the lawsuit risk is no longer there to the same degree. They're now launching all of these new products. They are on a positive upswing. Analysts are now upgrading the price targets, and it seems as though the narrative is slightly changing for HIMS. There's one more piece of news that I want to cover in this video because I think it goes a long way to explaining that narrative. And that's the fact that HIMS is now hiring a senior director of regional enablement. Again, this is a post from HIMS House. Original poster is Joseph. And this is basically from LinkedIn saying that the VP of operations from HIMS and Hers is hiring for a leadership role on one of the operations subdepartments, the enablement team, which leads the development and execution of strategic opportunities across the US and the world. Now, this last paragraph is important. This role will lead enablement in the Americas, responsible for our critical US market expansion throughout the region. We're looking from somebody who can build from scratch and identify the right path forward. So obviously that sounds really good because it points to international expansion. But then when you look at the actual role description specifically, it calls out South America, saying your mission to enable compliant, scalable growth by supporting our business goals through thoughtful operating models that align with local regulatory environments. And the job description continues further to say you'll partner closely with legal, regulatory, strategic partnerships, and product to develop country specific playbooks, and you'll own the execution of those plans. So they're looking for a 0 to 1 leader to essentially lead up the operations in their international expansion in South America. So we can see this company now going international, right? They had the Zava acquisition cover their Western Europe expansion with Germany, the UK, France, and I think Netherlands as well, top of my mind. And now they're having a South America expansion as well. So HIMS and Hers, I think, is going to be very well set up in 2026 to maintain those growth rates that they're guiding for. And of course, those growth rates are really the main catalyst for the company commanding a higher multiple through their stock price and with the stock price going up. And now that we launched the testosterone, all eyes are going to be on how quickly this scales throughout the US, because that's really going to determine what we can expect moving forward from a growth perspective for not only that segment, but also for future segments that they roll out. And to say that differently, I basically want to determine what degree of their scaling is as a result of internal efficiencies versus as a result of external demand. Like, I want to see whether GLP-1s was super demanded in general, which is what led to it scaling really quickly, or whether HIMS has perfected that methodology by which they launch new products. And that's going to be largely determined by the testosterone launch, especially as we go into 2026 and they expand that out even further. Either way, very bullish stuff for HIMS. It seems as though the sentiment is turning for the company and we should see higher highs. I still stick by my original statement that we're going to see new all-time highs this year. And I honestly think we're going to hit the $100 mark this year, especially because there's still like 3 months left till the end of the year. So I remain incredibly bullish on this company. And I haven't sold a single share. So let's see what happens. But let me know what you think in the comments below, because I remember the sentiment for HIMS was incredibly rock bottom low a couple weeks ago. And I even stopped running it in the Wheeling portfolio. And now all of that is changing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.